we have a food crisis. There are over 820 million people around the world who are malnourished, and this number will continue to rise as we reach an expected population of 10 billion by 2050. In addition to this, traditional farming practices are one of the top 3 biggest contributors to global warming. Continuing to scale up these current practices to feed a growing population isn't sustainable and just won't cut it anymore. So, what options do we have, you might ask? Well, let me introduce you to an emerging technology called cellular agriculture. Cellular agriculture combines the fields of biotechnology, synthetic biology, tissue engineering, and molecular biology to create products that would otherwise come from traditional agriculture. Essentially, you can grow parts of an animal outside of their body. There are a few key steps to this. First, you get your starter stem cell, most commonly via a biopsy. Then, you take the stem cells and put it in a culture media, which contains the nutrients that the cells would normally get inside the body to grow. After that, you may want to introduce a scaffold, which is essentially a mold that cells are attached to in order to achieve a specific structure or arrangement of cells. Finally, the cells, media, and possible scaffold are put in a bioreactor, which encourages cells to proliferate by mimicking the environment of an animal. And there you go, cultured animal cells identical to the real thing. This sounds like a great solution to the problems we face. It requires up to 45% less energy, up to 96% less water, and produces up to 96% less greenhouse gas emissions. So, why is this not replacing the current way of growing meat today? Let me talk to you about 3 key challenges that need to be overcome to make cellular agriculture a truly viable alternative to traditional means. First of all, growing meat requires extremely specific inputs and conditions. Secondly, cellular agriculture is still in its infancy stage, meaning in order to scale it up quickly, it'll be very costly. Finally, getting people to accept lab-grown meat is extremely difficult. So, what do people think about this new technology? If I told you that I could create a burger or steak in a lab instead of killing a cow, would you try it?
Absolutely. If it tastes the same, why wouldn't I try it?
Yes, I would, because as long as it tastes like the real thing, I'm good with it.
Growing meat in a lab may sound like a great solution to our global food situation and have a positive impact on our environment. There are still numerous challenges, as I just mentioned. But where there are challenges, there's opportunity. A subset of cellular agriculture has emerged, and it's based on entomophagy, the practice of eating insects. The concept is that growing insect meat would be more efficient and easier to do, therefore making it a more viable solution. Many people have given insects a bad rep for being dirty and disease-carrying, but actually they are safer to eat than traditional meats. The more evolutionary distance we are to what we eat, the safer our food is. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations estimates that about 2 billion people, or over a quarter of the world's population, eats bugs as a part of their standard diet. In fact, a 6-ounce serving of crickets has 60% less saturated fat and up to twice as much vitamin B12 as the same amount of ground beef. What do you think about eating insects?
I gotta admit, it's not something that I've considered, nor do I think it's that enticing. So, only if I really had to.
I don't think it would taste good.
Okay, so these people might not be fans, but for the scientific community, insect cellular agriculture is super exciting. It follows a similar process to traditional cellular agriculture, but most of the steps are somewhat improved. Using cells obtained from insects as starter cells is less costly and challenging. They are also able to withstand a broader range of environmental conditions, such as pH level, temperature, and oxygen conditions. Their robustness allows them to be cultivated in the most efficient conditions. With transcription systems, recombinant DNA can be introduced to a cell, making it possible to optimize for taste, texture, or even nutrition qualities in a product. Next is the media. A key benefit of insect cells compared to mammalian cells is the ease of adaptation of serum-free media. The most common media used for mammalian cells is FBS, or fetal bovine serum. It is derived from the blood of a fetal cow and has raised lots of concern due to its high cost, batch variation, and animal ethics. Fortunately, insect cells are adaptable to serum-free media, and there is already a wide variety of suitable options commercially available or reproducible. In addition to this, there has been successful efforts in driving down the cost of this, making it economically viable. On to the scaffold. For insect cells, mushroom chitosan can be used. It is extracted from oyster mushrooms and is a promising biomaterial, considered as generally recognized as safe or GRAS by the FDA. The final step is the placement of the cells, media, and scaffold if being used in a bioreactor, which is an apparatus for controlling the conditions of cell growth. It appears that there are more flexible and cost-efficient options for insect cell proliferation versus mammalian, such as using the stir tank, airlift, or perfusion reactor, just to name a few. With the world's population continuing to grow and global warming becoming an ever-increasing concern, the use of cellular agriculture for growing meat is a truly fascinating solution. But so is insects. It may not be an insect burger that hits your plate, but as an alternative protein source, the possibilities are endless. This could be a truly viable solution to two of the world's biggest problems.